Welcome to the personal side of business.
Hi, and welcome to the personal side of business, where every business has a story. I'm your host, Jet Bundiwang, and today my guest is Jonathan Ghiloni. We're going to talk about good business habits, scaling, and becoming a leader in your business space. Welcome to the podcast, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jed. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. So tell me, how did you get here?
Yes, I love business. I always knew that I wanted to work for myself, and so I went to business school, as everyone does, and started out. I went to Point Loma Nazarene, not too far from
Nice.
here in San Diego, and I love that place. I never went surfing once in my 4 years there, but beautiful views if you've been there. But anyways, went to business school, and at the school, I got a thought. I realized, how are the business professors here? Why aren't they professionals in business? Obviously, making way more profit than they would as a professor. But anyways, so I graduated, started a business, and that was in the construction space. That was granite countertops. So we did granite countertop fabrication, installation, and tile work. So that's what I did first. That was my business, and I had that business for about 20 years. And then 3 years ago, was able to sell that business, and retired.
Wow.
And just recently got into the space of coaching because, again, I absolutely love business. I love helping business owners, and I have a special niche in that where I've felt what they feel.
Uh-huh.
I've had payroll,
Right.
right? A lot of business professors haven't had payroll. I've had multiple people calling sick on the same day, and how are we going to work that, right? Good reviews, bad reviews, customer issues, customer successes. So I've been through all that. So I really bring that to the marketplace, and I love to help business owners.
That's great. Now, I have a question for you. When you started your business, I always hear this from a lot of business owners that come from business schools, that it felt like all the stuff you learned just went out the window and you had to start all over again. And then you have to reapply a lot of that stuff to be like, this is how it's applied in the real world, right? Did that happen to you?
Yeah, well, you get the textbook stuff and you have the case studies, which helps, right? But the business market is changing, changing all the time. Like, look, we're talking on a podcast now. Like, that wasn't even in my textbooks, but it's so important now for each business owner to be the expert, and not just know that they're the expert and say that they're the expert, but be able to prove that. Before, it was books. Like, you would write a book and be the expert. You'd write an article, a newsletter, you'd be the expert. Now we're doing this. Things change all the time.
Yeah. And did you have any mentorship when you started that business, that tile business?
Yeah, not a whole lot of mentorship other than just friends and family who were smarter than me, and there's quite a bit. But a big change for me was about 10 years into my business, I met a business coach, and that was Coach Carrie. I met her at a BNI, our networking group, and she began to help me coach my business. She helped me grow. She helped me get my numbers in order, helped me get my purpose down on paper, out of my head, get a lot of things out of my head. And we began to grow and scale the business. I went from about a team of 6, where we're just techs and workers, busy bees, and then me wearing all the hats, to a team of about 22 with leadership in place, kind of like vice president, managerial roles, a general manager. We grew to 2 locations, South San Diego and a North County San Diego fabrication shop, which is double the equipment, double the truck, double the vehicle, double the staff, before we were able to sell it.
Yeah. If you can go back to that young Jonathan when you started that business, knowing all the training that you've had with your action coach, Carrie, what would you have changed in the first couple weeks?
In the first, wow,
Yeah.
I love it. You're taking me back. I would begin to set up systems right away and track numbers. I see that a lot of business owners, a lot of techs, when they start, and now they start in business, they're going from a job, doing what they do, to now they want to open business for themselves and have clients pay them directly. This could be a construction tech, like what we're talking about. It could be a lawyer that's now a solopreneur. It could be a dentist, a doctor, anybody that now goes into business. They get to do what they do. They start doing what they do, and they do it well. They execute well. However, um, they forget real quick that they're in business on their own, and a business, the way we define it, is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. That's where it gets tricky, without you.
Yeah.
And so that's what we work on businesses for them to get in that space. But they don't set up systems so that the business can be replicated and can be scaled. Simple systems. We start with simple systems. A sales script. Yes, you're good at sales. Okay. But how do you do that? How can you train somebody to
Right.
do that? Right. Yes, you're very good at changing a plumbing piece or an outlet or a tooth, or
Yeah.
whatever example. But how can somebody do that in your place?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I've seen with a lot of businesses, especially in the beginning. Exactly what you're saying is they're super skilled at this. They've been in this industry for 10, 15, sometimes 20 years. But now the sort of business admin side of it is what starts to hold them back, right? Because they're like, oh, I used to get used to just going out to the field, doing my job,
Yeah.
and coming back home, and someone will tell me what to do. I get paid. I just send a couple files, but now they're having to run the whole entire business. Do you think that having good people in the right places as you're going through that process is crucial to you surviving?
Yes, good people in the right places is great, but they have to have a system. They have to know what to do, when to do, how to do it. And they can be good people. A lot of times, just hiring high level people is just a very expensive way to do
Mhm.
business. And yes, they're good. If you can have a system in place, and let's just take a fast food restaurant, right? Anyone, easy victim would be McDonald's, right? They run a McDonald's on 16, 17-year-olds, that barely learn how to brush their hair and
Yeah,
brush their
yeah.
teeth,
Yeah, yeah.
but they're running, I don't know, multi-million-dollar business. And I can get a Big Mac here in San Diego, or I can get a Big Mac in Nashville, Tennessee,
Yeah.
and it's probably the same Big Mac. I mean, maybe, different country, different thing.
Yeah, yeah.
They're different cultures, but it's probably the same. Why?
Yeah.
Because there's a system in place, and there isn't necessarily good people running it,
Yeah.
but there's a good system
Yeah.
in
And
place.
when these businesses that you're working with get through that system, what do you feel like starts to excel in the next level? What starts to happen?
Yeah. Um, w- there's independence and freedom first, freedom in time,
Yeah.
where now the business owner has more time
Yeah.
to be able to work on the things that they want to do, and maybe just to take a little break,
Yeah.
to have a little bit of time off. A big win for one of my clients recently, Jet, was to be able to be at home at 5 p.m. every day of the week, to be home, have dinner at his table with his family.
Yeah.
That for me is a huge win,
Yeah.
because if he's not doing that, what is he doing? He's working,
Yeah.
6, 7 p.m. at night, when, usually business closes about 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
every business is different. Understand that. But that was a goal of his, and so important for him and his family.
Do you see that a lot with business owners that are really involved in their businesses, that they think that grinding longer hours means that they're doing better work?
Yeah.
Do you see that?
I see it all the time. And, there's a lot of videos and talking heads, narratives right now on YouTube, or, on social media, that is telling we got to grind, we got to hustle.
Yeah.
And what's your 9 to 5? What's your 5 to 9?
You got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you got to
Yeah.
still work at 12 o'clock at night. And you're like, you're not really running a business anymore. You're just wearing yourself out for the
Yeah.
sake of wearing yourself out. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, they talk so strong that, you're just such a horrible person if you don't do that. And, so yeah, you got to wake up at 4, you got to do workout. And then millionaires, what time do they wake up,
Yeah.
and what time do they do this or do that? In my respects, everybody does things the way they want to do it, but it doesn't have to be that way.
All right.
You can start with a plan for the day, a plan for the week, a plan for the month, a 90-day plan.
Yeah.
annual plan, right? Five-year plan, and you can plan it out. And
Yeah.
yes, there'll be changes, there'll be improvements, but your plan doesn't have to be hustle and grind.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you can execute a healthy plan that works for you, for your family, for your spouse, for your leaders.
Yeah.
And go for it with purpose.
Yeah. You see that a lot with business owners that trying to figure out that plan is probably, or those things in place that will get them to go forward. That's the hardest part. Like, is that the biggest hurdle you think business owners come with, or newer business owners come with?
Yes. And what I call that is the difference between working in your business, the technical part,
Yeah.
and working on your business. A lot of times, a business owner comes to me, and we are just waist deep, neck deep
Yeah.
in working in the business. Busyness,
Yeah.
is not a badge of honor.
Yeah.
The way that tradesmen we used to talk is, "Hey, are you busy? How's it going?" "Well, I'm busy," or "I'm not busy."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or, "Yeah, I'm busy doing this." And you hold busyness as a badge of honor,
Yeah.
where the badge of honor is profitability
Yeah.
and
I was gonna say
freedom.
the bottom line, right? Like,
Right?
it's like how much time do you get back, and also how much money you're making. Like,
Yeah,
you can be busy, you're making 2% profit. It doesn't matter.
exactly. What's the point? You're just spinning your wheels,
Yeah.
all in the name of looking busy
Yeah.
or keeping up. You
Yeah.
know.
And I wanted to kind of go back a little bit to what you were saying. You sold your business. Did you have that intent when you were starting the business, that you go, in a few years, I don't want to do this forever. I want to be able to profit off of this, sell it, and then move on to something else?
Yeah. Yes and no. I knew that I wanted to work myself out of a job. I knew that you had to start a business to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
So I didn't necessarily think that I would be able to sell it, but that I could work myself out of it.
Yeah.
But while working with a coach, and kind of the last season of our coaching, which was a season of probably a year, was how are you going to finish your business,
Yeah.
and what does finish look like for you? And finish is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Finish could be selling it, and moving out completely. Finish could be moving to a CEO role or a board member role. Finish could mean I love sales, or I love, doing this part of the job. If have a painting company, I love to paint.
Yeah.
So just let me paint and somebody else run the business. So you sell it, or you or organize the business so that you can do just the part that you like.
Yeah.
And maybe that's finishing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's passing it on to your children
Right.
or loved ones, or another partner, and then you can choose your level of involvement.
Yeah.
So again, our definition of a business is a commercial profitable enterprise that works without you, and I would add with or without you,
Yeah.
and in parentheses, your choice.
Is that a conversation that's easy over time to have with a client, or most people are like, I can't see myself ever leaving this business or not being a part of it.
Yeah.
Does that happen often?
No, actually,
Everyone's like, I want to
a
get
lot
out.
of clients that I have right now, there's a level of frustration,
Yeah.
but they have things that are happening in life that are going to cause them to need to make some changes. One is wants to go into full-time ministry,
Yeah.
right? One has moved out of the area,
Yeah.
and one just can't handle the rigors and constraints, physical constraints of a construction-oriented job. So
Yeah.
his body is finished.
Yeah.
So he knows I need to finish this
Yeah.
and finish well.
Yeah. And when they're starting to express that they want to move to, or go in a different direction, right? I'm assuming at that point you're like, okay, now we have to plan for this, right? It can't be like, let's just hope in 3 years it's going to happen. This is like,
Yeah.
we have to take steps and write this down and try to work this out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big task, especially when they haven't planned for it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We'll just start steering that big cruise ship, that big aircraft carrier, in a different direction now.
Yeah.
More from just staying above water and staying profitable, but now to be able to show that. So there's a lot of numbers that we have to show, all the benefits that the owner receives out of the business. You would think it's profit, but as a business owner, you try to use your profit in different ways to avoid tax liabilities.
Yeah.
So we need to show all that, to show that the new owner will receive all these benefits from this
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
So there's a lot of number side, profit side, bookkeeping side that needs to happen, but there's a lot of personnel side, systemization, so that if I'm going to buy your business, do I have to be able to commit to 60 hours a week?
Yeah.
And do I want to buy a business that the owner has to work 60
Yeah.
hours a week? Like, probably not.
Yeah.
I would like to invest in a business as an investor, right? And see that business runs on its own without me.
Because that profit is going to now be an offspring of what that goal is, right? If my goal is to sell this business in 5 years, I have to get it profitable. So you're like, well, it's not just about selling. It's really about trying to get these numbers up so it looks good, systems in place, get everything so it's packaged in a
Yes.
good, nice little package so you can sell it and be off.
It
Right?
buys it. Yes, absolutely. In most cases, your multiplier, the price that you would list your business for,
Yeah.
is based off a multiple of your profit.
Yeah.
If you have no profit, anything times zero, is zero.
Yeah.
However, they could be buying the real estate if you own real estate, if you
Yeah.
own your brick and mortar, if you have a very good client list.
Yeah.
However, if a good client list and no profit, like that's not a very good client list, or there's something wrong there. Or if you just have a great team, like a company wants to move laterally and acquire your team, acquire your profit list, like a competitor is what I'm referring to. If they want to buy those assets that your business have, even though you're not profitable,
Yeah.
but they have a system, they already have a setup that is profitable, and they can incorporate the two is
Yeah.
great. So if somebody comes in and their profit is zero or not very good or in the red, that's what we'll work on first. So we do have a multiplier
Yeah.
by the time we're finished. And 3 to 5 years is a good time
Yeah.
to begin that conversation.
And can you talk about one of the systems or a couple of the systems that you like to put into place to help someone start to scale up into the next level to be able to make money? Now they're able to see the vision of the business in a different light.
Yeah, absolutely. It starts by tracking your numbers. When I drove over here today, I had a dashboard with a speedometer, gas gauge, temperature gauge. We all have these gauges in our car. What if you had a blanket over them, right? And you drove an hour, and you're not watching anything. One, you may get a speeding ticket. You may run out of gas. You may run too hot, too cold. Something may happen, right?
Yeah.
When we don't track our numbers, we're asking, we're up for a disaster when we don't track our
Yeah.
numbers. That's the key. That's where we want to start. Systems that will help us do that.
Yeah.
What leads are coming in? How many leads are coming in? Where are the leads coming from? And you don't have to have a big software computer system. It can be on a piece of paper, or just every Friday you sit down and track all the leads that came in, right? How many times did we convert those leads from just a call, just say, hey, I'm interested, or hey, give me a price, to now I'd like to do business. Here's my deposit, or I'd like to sign on. How many times are we converting? That gives us our number of customers. Then how many times are we selling per customer? It takes a lot to get a client,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whatever your sales process is, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So-
I've always said that to different business owners too, that, if you were selling 1 out of every 5 and you're talking to 100 people,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, so now you start to have an idea of how many people you need to sell to if you want to start to scale up into different numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So once you know that number, okay, I sell 1 out of every 5. So every time I need to sell, I need to do 5.
Yeah.
Right. And then we can work on those strategies. That's where coaching comes in.
Yeah.
But just knowing that number is huge.
Yeah.
And I congratulate the business owner who knows their numbers.
Yeah.
Right. Because then we know how to scale. I was working with a realtor, and he had to pass out 300 flyers, door hangers in a neighborhood, and he would get 1 call.
Yeah.
Okay, we can work with that.
Yeah.
So 300, 600, 900, 1200, right? And then we can work on strategies to bring that number up from 2 out of 300, right? We can work on that. But if we have some numbers, that's where we start. So then it goes to transactions, and then we go to average dollar sale. How much am I charging? Have I increased my prices according to inflation? Are there more services that I can offer to the same client?
Yeah.
Are there more things that I can help them with? Do they have more needs that I can? An example that I have for that is my mechanic. Every time I'd go to the mechanic for an oil change, he would give me about a 20-point checklist, just walk around my car and check the tires, check the brakes, check the coolant, check filters, whatever. Right. And he would give me a happy face, a yellow middle face, or a red crying face, an emoji.
Yeah.
And so that would help me to save and plan for my next visit to him so that, all that is a nice service to me as a driver, as the owner of a car, but it's also increasing his average dollar sale.
Yeah.
And then lastly, your profit margins. Are you spending too much on things? Or is there some defense that we can play
Yeah.
to be able to bring our bottom line up?
Yeah. And just to touch upon that idea you were talking about with your mechanic is I always like to push that with people and say, those clients or customers that you currently have, those are the easiest for you to go back to sell to, right? This sort of like, I guess like horizontal selling where you're just like, I'm going to go back to them. They've been loyal to me. They know how I am, the customer service that I can get something back to them. Do you see with businesses that you work with, that there's a lack of that sort of loyalty rewards going back to the client and go, you've been with me, I'm going to do you a solid and help you out in other areas, right? Do you see?
Absolutely. There's a lot of trust that has to happen when somebody hires you, right? To do whatever you do. That once they do that, they trust you, they've seen your work, they've got the benefits of it. They are prime candidates. They are your first candidates you should look for to be able to offer more services to. When I was in the granite business, once I remodeled your kitchen, I used to think, well, I remodeled your kitchen, and that's all that I do. That's my niche. That's all that I'm going to do. You don't need me. You already did your kitchen, right? And that's a big ticket item in somebody's house. So when are they going to do that again, right? They're going to tell you, hopefully not for 30 years. I hope your work lasts for that long. And I would agree with that. But we would offer them then their fireplace and then their bathroom. And
You've already been in their home. They're comfortable with
yes,
you, right? They've worked with you. They like everything.
They like you, that they know how it works, and then you're good to go. And a lot of times, you're already have a little bit of a friendship, you know? Yeah.
Have you built that rapport? And I don't think business owners, especially newer business owners, really think about that because they're in the thick of it, right? They're just like, I got to get the next new client, but I'm like, those loyal clients are going to be worth more. One, not just because they can purchase other products or services from you, but they're also your referrals.
Yes.
Right? If they love you so much, you're like, he's done my kitchen, he's done my bathroom, he's done my this and that. And they're like, I will recommend you because you can check out everything he's done in my house. I want you to refer you out to everyone I know. Right?
Yes.
And I think people, there's sort of this thought process, and I get it, that getting a new customer or attaining a new customer is always a way to go. And everyone I've ever spoken to has, when they are able to look at those numbers, start to see that getting a new customer is one of the most expensive things. Between the marketing, going out there, getting a foot, putting things on doors, all this stuff, right? But the ones that have been already working with you, those are the easier ones to really go, do you know anyone else? Do you have any other friends or family that could use this? This is where you need to go back to. What are your systems in place, I think, for coaching them to go back into that sales CRM and go, these are people that maybe you have to touch upon just one more time?
Yeah. I totally agree with what you're saying. Using your existing customer base, stay in touch with them, keep them as a customer for life.
Yes.
And turn them into raving fans.
Yes.
Right? Little by little. Just from being on the peripheral to now being engaging in business, and to referring you, giving you more work, but then eventually to be your raving fan where they're leaving you a review, they're putting your bumper sticker on their car.
Yeah.
They're posting the job that you did for them, right? They're reposting.
Yeah, social media to get that out there and then to have like 300 people look at it without you having to pay for that.
Then you can leverage all of that. So, and that's huge for every business owner.
Yeah.
And like you said, customer acquisition costs are very expensive. All the marketing you put in to get that one client.
Yeah.
All the work you did, all the sales scripts that you wrote just to get that one client, that takes a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a snowball. So if you can focus, I think that's a big takeaway from today. Focus on your current client list. What you can offer them. Do they need you again? Are you engaging? Are you engaging
Yeah.
in multiple touches over the year? And depending on the industry and depending on who the clients are, maybe they're best with a mailer or a newsletter,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but maybe they're best with just something on social media, or maybe they're best with a text or a phone call,
Yeah.
right? Just staying in touch with them, just to be on their radar and to turn them into raving fans. If we have time, I have a story where I did a small job, a fireplace for a lady, and we used a remnant that we had out of our shop. It was just a small piece, definitely under our average dollar sale. And so some people would turn the job down, but we did it, and she was a great lady. Well, in our conversations and just working at her job, doing her fireplace, realized that she was part of the East County Chamber of Commerce and that she liked to go. But she really didn't have much of a business, but she helped whatever business she could, just kind of for the social aspect. Cool. She said, well, I go and support you in that. I said, well, yeah, that'll be great. So she started going to these Chamber of Commerce meetings and singing our praises and saying how good we were.
Yeah.
And then I said, why don't you be a salesperson for me? And just work on a sales basis, commission basis. And so she's like, I would love to do that. So when she would go talk to clients, she was a lot better at it than I was, because she could take the time, sit down with them and say, hey, this is what the Granny Company had did for me. This is what they could do for you. And she was a great salesperson, just by being open to that
Yeah.
and keeping the conversation open, staying relevant.
Yeah. And I think within that, there is this element of, I bet you she was talking from the heart, right? She was explaining her experience and not having to think of the next sales pitch. It was really like, this is my experience. I just want to
Absolutely.
let you know. And I think that probably goes a long way. And I'm sure she has like the granny powers, like,
Yeah, you're exactly right on every level of that. Yeah, like I would go through my sales process.
Yeah.
If I had a salesperson that I hired as a salesperson, they would go through my 13 steps,
Yeah.
right? If they say yes, if they say no, here's what you offer, here's what you do. But people feel that, and they're used to that. But yeah, you're exactly right. She comes in with the heart, with a testimonial, and the trust factor,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
who's gonna say no?
Yeah. And, in your experience, do you think there's a larger learning curve for a newer business owner or someone who's been doing it for so long that they're set in their ways?
Yeah.
Which one do you feel like it's easier for you to kind of build a system and go, okay, we can get through this?
hmm I think in the middle of that is what's difficult, where they are a bit set in their ways.
Mhm.
If they've been through some pain,
Mhm.
and they see some light at the end of the tunnel, and they have a reason why they need to get this business in check,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm already 10, 15 years into it,
Yeah.
and we're still fighting the same struggles. I still can't find good people. I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I still can't find good people. Oh, there's a hiring issue here, that we have, or a pay issue, like a compensation issue. But yeah, kind of in the middle, there is a little bit of a mindset shift where they just want to hustle and grind it out.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they need to go through some pain, have some issues, that aren't necessarily growing pains,
Yeah.
but they got to go through some stuff to be able to get better and see light on the other side. A business owner at the beginning is great because they can start fresh, and really we can implement systems at the beginning to track the numbers,
Yeah.
to work on things that they need to work off. And then towards the end of it, we're working on bottlenecks. What bottleneck do we have in production? Where are things all jamming up and things aren't
Yeah.
flowing?
Yeah. What is your advice for someone that is having issues with hiring right now? I hear that a lot too. I think we're at I don't want to say like it's going to be forever, right? But I feel like we're in a place where technology has shifted the way someone sees how they can make money, right?
Mhm.
You and I were growing up. It was like, yeah, you have to go get a job. This
Yeah.
is now we're in a place where someone who's coming out of high school can set up something online and never have to go into an office, learn a 9 to 5, and still make
Yeah.
70, 80, sometimes $1 million a year because they were like, I, I created this software, or I
Right.
started playing video games. There's kids playing video games that are making money, right?
It's
So,
incredible.
so it's a different,
Yeah.
I think it's a different mindset for, especially for the tradespeople. I hear that a lot, that they're finding good talent and skilled workers is getting harder.
Yeah.
What is your approach to that for a business owner?
Yeah. I'll take a couple steps back and talk with the business owner on an organizational chart and what seat on their bus needs to be filled,
Uh-huh.
right? Because we don't want to hire just because someone is available that I know.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in between jobs right now.
Yeah.
Why don't you hire them? Or you get a call from a friend, hey, can you hire my daughter or son because they need work?
Yeah.
And they're really good at computers,
Yeah.
or they're really good at this, right? Well, it's what does this business need at this time? We may not need that. So, where are we now? And what box are we in? We would like to fill or replace in our org chart. What will help us the most? And can we hire on the low end, and train up?
Yeah.
Because then it'll be a lot more affordable for the business owner. So once we do that, then we'll look into personalities. The personality, if that person is going to be on the production staff, what's the personality of the production staff leader? Or of the people underneath that production manager, or of the sales manager, so on. Because we want to have personalities that also mesh and complement each other, so that they'll be able to work well. And a personality assessment is very simple. We use DISC, and we're happy to offer that to all of our business owners.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice starting point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming that process is not always easy, right? It takes some time and patience to find that. But I will bet you that if they go through all that process and they do find someone, it's like, where was this person, right?
Yeah.
You checked off all these different little marks on for what you needed.
Absolutely. And then take care of your employees,
Yeah.
to where your employees will also give you good reviews. And then if you have a good employees with good culture, it's most likely that they're running around with people who also have good culture
Yeah.
and good vibes, and a good work ethic. And so I love to ask my own employees, hey, who do you know who could fill this position at our company?
Yeah.
And would you recommend our company to your friends and family? Because if I really like you as an employee, you're doing well, you like me as a manager, as a boss, as
There's
a
a chance
business
you know
owner,
someone just like
there's
you.
a very good chance, right? And then there's also a little bit of accountability, like, hey, you brought in so and so,
Yeah.
so you can use that against them a
Yeah.
little bit.
This guy's a
Can you
dick.
help us
Yeah,
with that?
he's always late for work. It's your
Right,
fault. But
and then step back and set up clean job descriptions, and then, hey, we're going to be asking you to do this. Can you do this? And then we're going to keep you accountable with KPIs, key performance indicators, all set out at the beginning. It's just a little bit of work at the beginning of every task that we do that we can run back to, doing the work once and getting paid for it forever,
Yeah.
or for a long time.
And through a lot of this, I start to feel like if you were to implement all the things that you do with a business owner, and this, we're only touching, I feel like probably like less than 50% of the
Yeah.
things you share with me, right? Throughout this process, I feel like this person becomes a better leader in their business, right? Do you see that as well?
Absolutely. And when you have business coaching, you'll be able to take that with you at every aspect, every point of your life, whether it's right now, whether it's in the future, whether it's in your business, or it's at the baseball team that you coach,
Yeah.
for your sons
Yeah.
or your daughters, or you work at a church or a nonprofit. You'll be able to take all these skills with you forever. And once you run a business well, and learn how to run a business well, learn how to implement systems, learn how to critique those systems and be efficient, you can do that with any other type of business. A lot of times, business owners are working through their current business, selling it for a great profit, investing. Now they're investors. They invest into other businesses and begin to grow. And that's where we start to create generational wealth.
Do you Do you have you had clients that you go from they sell the business and now they're like, hey, come back. I have another business. I got to try to get to the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been in it long enough to be able to have
But
personal clients, but in our group, we have many of those.
yeah.
Many of those.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit about how your action coach team is set up?
Yeah, absolutely. So we work out of the Mission Valley office,
Okay.
and I'm with Coach Carrie Kaufman, and she was my business coach. And when I was into my retirement, she was the one that had the conversation with where, hey, I just love to help businesses. I told her.
Yeah.
She said, why don't you come on and coach with us? So I went through all the certification training process
Nice.
of that. So we worked together in the Mission Valley office.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming everyone in there is just as passionate as you are to
Absolutely.
it's the same thing now, right? For her to recruit people that are going to be passionate and want to help small businesses as well.
Yeah, and we were all business owners ourselves, that have been through it and have grown businesses, got businesses better, and then eventually sell the business.
Yeah, it's amazing. And if they clients or potential clients out there are trying to look for you, how do they find you?
Yeah, thank you. If I can give my phone number,
Yeah.
619-679-7709. We're also on Instagram, Coach Jonathan Ghiloni. That's the best place to find me, or on LinkedIn. And otherwise, we're here in the Mission Valley office, but we also coach virtually. So you don't have to be here in San Diego.
Nice.
We can meet you over Zoom
Yeah.
or in person if we need to travel. That's no problem there. We just want to get in and see business owners succeed. One event that we do offer that I ask everybody to start with is called Growth Club. And that's a 90-day planning session where you come in. We have in person and we also have virtual option every quarter. So at the end of every quarter, we start to plan the next 90 days. And you plan all the projects that we're going to work on in our business.
Yeah.
Not so much that I'm going to do Mrs. Smith's job and, I'm going to do this technical project, but improvements that we want to make on our business, right? Where we want to make some shifts to get that big ship, going in the right direction. And then so we cleanly plan out who's responsible to do that in our business. How much is it going to cost? What's the desired result that we're going to get from it, and what we can expect at the end, and what are some milestones, some markers that are going to show us that we can get there. A lot of time, motivation comes from first steps. It doesn't come from hearing a motivational speaker or from just having a dream or having big dreams, but motivation comes by doing it a little bit and getting a little bit of success, right? When you start working out or go on a diet,
Yeah.
when you first lose those first few pounds or, feel a little better in this way or another, then all of a sudden, things go off in your mind. That's where the motivation kicks in.
Yeah. I always like to tell people it's like that 1% each day, right? To get better. Like, you don't need to try to get 100% in the next week. It's just a little bit at a time becomes big changes over time.
Absolutely. And to me, that's the only way to improve a business. If we came in and just totally transformed a business over the first 90 days, it wouldn't last.
Yeah.
It would blow up. It would
Yeah.
be too much.
Yeah.
So it's small increments.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan. That was a great wealth of knowledge. Please reach out to him if you have a business and you're just curious as to how the action coaches can help you, especially with Jonathan. And thank you for being on our podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. I've had a great time.
Thank you. This is Personal Side of Business.